Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at a winter storm that could affect parts of the Midwest, even into some parts of the Mid-Atlantic, such as Baltimore, parts of DC, and even all the way up into Philadelphia. But as you get up more north, it gets more questionable. But before we start, could you please like and subscribe and ring the bell for more? Because I really do enjoy making these weather videos for you, and I hope you all do enjoy as well. Now let's get straight to the weather. Right now, this is the WPC's 4 to 7 day winter outlook. This is the probabilities of exceeding 0.25 liquid of an inch, 0.25 inch of liquid equivalent of snow and sleet. Now, the greatest probability that they have right now is from all the way into pretty much all of Pennsylvania, into western part of Long Island, southern parts of Connecticut, and almost central and southern part of New York. And then there's a second pocket that's in parts of the Ohio Valley, back into Illinois, easternmost parts of Iowa, southern parts of Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, and into Ohio. Now, this green area, this light green, is a probability of 10 to 30% chance of snow here. That, yes, this stretches all the way back into Boston, but this has been growing more easterly as it expanded onto Long Island today and more south. They used to have 10% chance of snow all the way back up into here, into Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, but since then they have backed off of that because they are looking at a more southerly track instead of a more northerly track here. Now, I would still cut this a little more south over here, just because I don't think Buffalo will see that much snow out of this. If they will probably see lake effect snow out of this, but I really do not see them getting too much snow. Now, central Pennsylvania looks to be the sweet spot for this, into central New Jersey, and possibly onto Long Island, depending on the track. But if you go back out west into the Ohio Valley here, you do have this pocket of 30 to 50% chance. This is where I think also could see the best snowfall totals, stretching from maybe as low as 3 all the way as high as 8, but this is still very early in the game. We are 4 days out still. This is a storm that's going to happen Monday night into Tuesday for at least the parts on the eastern coast, and then earlier as you go west. This is a GFS model, also known as the American model, on Tropical Tidbits. This is where I get all my weather information from the models, and also another site called Pivotal Weather. If you want to check this out on your own and you don't have to wait for me to upload, Tropical Tidbits and Pivotal Weather would be the sites to do so. As we continue here on the GFS, you can see the storm eventually appears here by Sunday morning, just by Kansas and Nebraska here. And as we continue, you can see this first band of snow makes its way into Chicago Metro, into almost all of Wisconsin here, and into northern Illinois, Iowa, and making its way easterly. But as it makes its way east, it gets more dried out and eventually dissipates. But this is where I think your biggest chance for parts of northern Wisconsin and Minnesota could be for your big snowfall. Well, when I talk about big snowfall, I'm talking maybe an inch or two. This does not look to be a major system for you at all, but again, the sweet spot looks to be in Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic here. As we continue with the GFS, you can see it dissipates, but another low pressure system forms just south of Chicago Metro. Stays snow just south of there, at least on the GFS. But if you're a snow lover in Chicago, the good news is, if you take a look back on the previous runs, you can see the low pressure system is right there. On the previous run, it's in pretty much the same spot. If you go back though, it has been trending more north and northeast in the past couple runs. But at least on this run, it looks to be a little more warmer back by the Illinois area. But if you continue here into the Mid-Atlantic, you can see it actually does show snow. On the previous run, the snow, the low pressure system was in pretty much central West Virginia. Now it looks like the low pressure is a little bit more south, but a storm on the coast over here does look like the form, causing that little bit of bulk of snow going into southern Long Island and southern Connecticut. And if you continue here, that storm eventually moves out, causing again dry and cold conditions to follow after the system, but that may not last for a while because you have another storm system right after that. But this is another storm for another day, another video. But this could be a massive snowstorm for parts of the south, but some computer models do take this up the coast. Now, again, this is still a very far out. This is Thursday, and we haven't got through the Monday, Tuesday storm yet. And honestly, if this storm Monday does track more north, expect this storm to follow more of a track like that. So let's say the low pressure system does end up going just south of Long Island like that, it could possibly follow that same exact track. But if you take a look at the snow totals from the GFS from that system, and yes, we'll back this up, this is pretty much your snow totals. The GFS does give significant snowfall for parts of Iowa and southern parts of Minnesota, but even then I think that's a little bit too bullish. And then you do have this little bit of a gap here for Ohio, which I really don't agree with. I don't know why there's that gap. I really do think the GFS once again is really suppressing the storm, over suppressing the storm. And then again, once you make your way east, you have this big pocket just south of New York City, back into Pennsylvania, Maryland, even into parts of Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, and Philadelphia could see 2 to 3. I think New York City, at least there, sees an inch at most from the GFS. Now, if you're a snow lover, some parts of, let's say, Chicago, New York City, Pittsburgh, this is a model you want to be correct. This is the Canadian model. As you can see here, it does have the first wave of snow, not as intense as the GFS, but you can already tell it is far more north than the GFS. It is already snowing in parts of Chicago here. Parts of Cleveland is also snowing, and Pittsburgh is also snowing at this time. And as we continue, you see the snow field starts to expand. Chicago is really starting to get into it. Southern parts and central parts of Illinois is getting into this, and parts of Missouri is also getting into this system. And as you make your way east, you can see central and eastern Pennsylvania, such as Philadelphia, is getting into this. But if you're in Washington, D.C., Baltimore, it does look like, at least on this model run, it does change it over rain. And then it takes the snow up just south of Albany, if not right over it. And then it gets snow into Boston, and then eventually gets snow up into Albany. Now you may ask, what's the snow totals look for that system? At least shown by the Canadian. Well, it does show a lot more snow than the GFS, I'll tell you that. Instead of not having that heavy swath of snow into southern Minnesota, it does have that heavy swath into just south of Chicago, all the way back up into Ohio, all the way just south of Boston and Albany, all the way back into Buffalo and Rochester, and back into the border of Wisconsin and Illinois. Now, this argues with the GFS that the storm system would go a lot more north and the storm undercoast would get more developed here. Now, there is another model that backs this up, and this is called the European model. As you can see here, I went a little bit forward of showing the snow totals. And if you go back a little bit, this is your snow totals. It gives Long Island 3 to 4 inches, where it does have that 30 to 50% chance of snow. And back into the Chicago metro, Iowa, Detroit, and Cleveland area, you could see up to such as 3 inches. It gives Cleveland, it gives Detroit 7 inches, and it gives Chicago 14 inches of snow. I really do think that's a little bit too bullish there, but then again, this is a European and it loves to overproduce. And it looks like I just found an 18-inch print in southern Iowa if they need that. Iowa's been getting slammed by storms all year. They definitely do not need that system. While I was recording this, I accidentally X'd out of my map here, but thankfully I was able to save a photo of it before I did it. But anywhere in this light blue, it looks like you will have a 0 to 20% chance of snow. It only really has some models like central and northern Minnesota, same thing as Wisconsin and Michigan, New York, and of course the Northeast. Only a few models really do have snow for that part of the area. I would say this area is more like a 20% chance, and then as you go more north, it's like a 0, just like Maine and northern New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire. You will not be seeing snow out of this system. But if you go south closer to this blue line, 20 to 40% chance. As you can see, it goes through the border of Wisconsin and Illinois, back into Iowa, all the way through Detroit. Detroit, you could go either way with this system. Just south of Albany and just south of Boston here. I might have to extend this a little further south into just on the border of Providence, if not just below it. Recent models haven't really been showing too much snow, but the GFS is in fact trending more north, and the Canadian and European have trended back north, causing Boston to have snow. In this pink, you 60 to 80% chance of snow. I say if you get closer to central Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey, this is like an 80% chance, such as just south of Chicago back into Des Moines. It's pretty much almost a slam dunk. Notice how I only go up to 80% because I am only at a 5 confidence out of a scale of 1 to 3. This storm could go either way. We are 4 to 5 days out, depending what time you see this video, either tonight or tomorrow. And once again, this storm could go either way depending on the track. It all depends on the high that is up here, the negative NAL. Will the storm track up into the northeast, causing the storm to redevelop off the coast, closer to the coast, causing more snow for parts of Long Island and New Jersey and Pennsylvania? Or will it develop more offshore, causing less snow for the coast? That is all for today, guys. I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you all have a